Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling great. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a situation that happened in Milwaukee. And I started seeing bits and pieces of this, like going around online and then putting it all together. And then even recently, some more information has come out. And so we are going to be talking about the case of Sade today. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Audible. Audible is the world leader in audio entertainment, audiobooks, podcasts, and Audible originals. I have personally been a paying member of Audible for many years now, and I really enjoy, especially when I need a little break from the crazies of social media. I love listening to my audiobooks on Audible when I'm doing things like going for a walk, working around the house, and even when I'm gardening now. And if you haven't already heard, Audible has a must-hear collection of the latest and greatest in the thriller genre. I myself have a pretty large audiobook collection that I have collected on Audible over the years, and the one that I'm currently listening to is a title named Chaos, and it talks about the alleged CIA involvement with Charles Manson. But when I'm talking to my friends, I'll also suggest Sugar, Salt, Fat. I listened to it years ago, but it has taught me so much, and I still think about things that I learned to this day. It has a lot to do with the chemistry and the way that our food is now engineered and how it basically gets us hooked and addicted, and the way that you just have to listen to it. It's really eye-opening. And another one that I like to suggest to my friends is either the 5 love languages, or now they have the 5 love languages of children. And I really enjoyed listening to that audiobook as well. If you have not already tried Audible, well, now is your chance, because Audible is giving all new members a free trial, and members can also get full access to a large and growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and their podcasts. And when you become a member, you get to choose one title a month from their very large catalog. If you want to try Audible, all you got to do is go to audible.com/Christina Randall, or just text code Christina Randall to 500-500 for a free trial of Audible today. Yes, all you got to do is go to audible.com/Christina Randall, or just text code Christina Randall to 500-500, and you can start your free trial today. Thanks again, Audible. So, okay, let's talk about Sade Robinson. 19-year-old Sade Robinson was born on May 10th of 2004 and was originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi, but she had been living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, according to Sade's family and friends, she was a loving daughter, a cherished sister, and a dear friend to so many people. Sade was getting ready to graduate from Milwaukee Area Technical College, and she wanted to pursue a career in criminal justice. She had even expressed an interest in one day joining the Air Force. Now, according to Sade's mother, Sheena, Sade enjoyed traveling, and at just 19 years old, she had already been to Jamaica, she had been to New Orleans, and she even traveled to Atlanta. Now, not only did Sade's family and friends love her, but so did her coworkers. She was working at a local pizza place called Pizza Shuttle, and her manager, Justin, said that she was just a very outgoing person, and she always lightened everyone's mood. And for her to even get along, she got along with everybody, even like her manager. Sade was, in fact, at this time single, but she had been looking, and she was, out. She was ready to date, and she was looking for someone special to spend her time with. On Easter of this year, 2024, she spent the whole entire day with her family, just enjoying their company and being around all of the most important people to her. She told her family that she had a first date the following day, and they were all seemingly excited for her. Sade had even told one of her coworkers and someone that lived in her building about this date, and she was talking about how excited she was. Sade's date was with a 33-year-old man named Maxwell Anderson, and he was a local bartender. The next day, on April 1st, Sade was texting Maxwell, planning out their date and getting all excited. When Maxwell asked her where she wanted to go for dinner, she replied that she liked seafood.
Let's eat at Twisted. I'm feeling seafood. Yes, I love seafood. Sounds good. I'm about to leave. I'll be there soon.
At this same time, Sade was actually FaceTiming her mother and talking to her about this date, and she was talking about what she was going to wear and how she was going to do her hair. However, this would be the last time that any of Sade's family, friends, or coworkers would hear from her. The next morning, on April 2nd, Sade was scheduled to go to work, but she did not show up for her shift. Now, Justin, her manager, the one that we literally just talked about, who said all these wonderful things about her, knew that this was absolutely out of character for Sade, and so did all of her coworkers. So they began to call her, and they were calling her, they were texting her, trying to find out, what was going on. Did she oversleep? Did she have a flat tire? Where is she? Because this was completely not like her. As it got later and later in the day and no one heard back from her, one of her friends decided to go ahead and call the police and report her missing. Talk about some really good coworkers and good friends and the reputation that Sade had. Nobody in there thought that she was just a no call, no show or out doing whatever. They knew that she didn't show up for work and then nobody heard from her, that they needed to literally get the authorities involved. Now, deputies ended up going over to her apartment for a welfare check, but they didn't find her there. And this is when everybody really began to worry about her. So the cops, Sade's friends, Sade's family, and even her coworkers started to look for her. Justin, again, Sade's manager, even shut the whole entire pizza place down for 3 days in order to devote time to looking for her. How just an impact that she had on the people around her, that the business literally shut down for 3 days to help look for her. That same morning, unknown to the police around the same time, Sade's 2020 Honda Civic was found in flames, completely on fire. It would later be identified as her car when investigators were able to identify clothing that was in the car as the outfit that she had been wearing the night that she went out on this date. And they also found part of an iPhone that was consistent with her iPhone and what her iPhone looked like. But even with all of this being unsettling, of course, her family frantically looking for her. And you can just only imagine, right? You're 19-year-old. This is, in my opinion, like a baby, right? She still has her whole entire life ahead of her. She's excited. She's going to go on this date. She's FaceTiming her mom, talking about her hair, what she's going to wear. And then nobody hears from her. And then her car is found on fire. You can just imagine the panic from this date, who she went with, what happened. Things took an even more shocking turn when someone called the police to report that there was a human leg found on the beach that appeared to have been sawed off at the hip. After the authorities retrieved the leg and it was taken back and ran through testing, it was determined to be Sade's leg through DNA. Then a few days later, on April 6th, all these deputies and a bunch of volunteers were all out searching this area where Sade's car had been found. This is when they found a foot. And the foot is presumed at this time to be Sade's. Sade's mother and friend then turned over her phone records from a location sharing app that they had linked with her phone. From the phone information is how the investigators were able to determine the location of Sade's date that night that she left to go out. It ended up showing that she went from a seafood restaurant called the Twisted Fisherman to a nearby bar where Sade posted to Snapchat, and then she went to Maxwell's home and then to the park where the first item ended up being found. On April 4th, Maxwell was arrested and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, and he was also charged with a corpse, and he was also charged with arson. And if he is found guilty, he is facing life in prison. If he is guilty, he should get every bit of that and anything else they can throw on top of it. Now, after his arrest, more information started coming out about the state's investigation. Apparently, investigators have surveillance footage and witness statements and phone records that led them straight to this guy, Maxwell. In the surveillance footage, Sade and Maxwell can be seen at the seafood restaurant for sitting around for about an hour. And this is where Maxwell actually was a bartender was at this restaurant. Then Sade and Maxwell spent about 2 hours at that bar that they went to after dinner. Then the location data showed that Sade and Maxwell spent 3 hours at his home before Sade's location moved from his house to this park at around 1 a.m., where it stayed stationary and eventually ran out of battery at around 4 a.m. There was an eyewitness that did tell investigators that she seen a white male get out of Sade's car early in the morning of April 2nd. She also said that she saw this man light a lighter and toss it into the driver's side window of this car, and then she watched the car catch on fire. She said then this man that she saw do all this got on a city bus. When they went to go and pull the surveillance footage from this bus, that's where they saw that the man was indeed this Maxwell Anderson. So it's really looking like they got him every which way but sideways. However, they still went and searched Maxwell's home, and this is where they found red bodily fluids and several gas cans. Maxwell's lawyer is not convinced that the state had enough evidence against him to charge him with this intentional homicide.
The allegations in the complaint are abhorrent. It is the highest level of violence imaginable. They went to Twisted Fisherman, and then they went to Duke's on Water Street, and then returned to his home around 9:20 p.m. And sometime between that time and the early morning hours of April 2nd, the defendant killed Sade Robinson and dismembered her body intentionally, left pieces of her body in various parts through the county.
Anderson's attorney argued the state didn't have enough evidence to support the first-degree intentional homicide charge.
With respect to showing probable cause that this defendant, that Maxwell Anderson, intentionally killed the victim, that he did so, I think it's lacking.
They ended up having a press conference, and this is when they said that they were still searching for more of Sade's remains. And when they were asked if they believed that there were any other related cases in this area, they said that so far there hasn't been any evidence to indicate that this guy Maxwell had done anything like this maybe to anybody else. However, fast forward to April 18th, okay? NBC News put out a report that in South Milwaukee, on this remote beach area off of Lake Michigan, a person had got up at 7:30 in the morning and was out there taking a nice walk. So you can imagine, they get up, they've got this little private beach where the lake comes up and splashes on this little beach. 7:30, the air is crisp. They go out there to look at the water, get some fresh air, take a nice walk. And this is when the people that are walking come across a torso and an arm. Of course, in a complete panic, you can imagine, they go and call 911. The medical examiners, the police, and everything show up. After they retrieved these two parts, it is believed to be parts of Sade. Sade's friends and family are completely sickened over this, but they're trying to keep it together. In honor of Sade, they ended up doing this thing that they called Pink Out for a memorial for her.
Well, a crowd gathered outside the home today, then moved to the Pizza Shuttle restaurant where Sade worked. Friends and family put up a memorial in her honor. Kaylee Snarl talked with Sade's former boss, who says he wants to share the space to support her loved ones and their mission to bring her remains home.
There was people out here writing on the sidewalks. They wrote Sade name, painting, writing on their cars. It's not to be cute. It's not to try to be fashionable. It's to make a statement about Maxwell Anderson.
We followed the family to where Sade worked. The color pink now spreading across Milwaukee with a memorial here dedicated to the heart of Pizza Shuttle.
She's the first Pizza Shuttle employee I met. She always had a compliment or a hug or a dance.
Now, since I filmed this video, new information has come out. And for a very bizarre turn of events, it has come out that the DNA that was found in Maxwell's home does not match Sade's. Yes, the blood DNA that we were talking about, they're saying it is not a match for Sade. And Maxwell is pleading not guilty. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's more information, but I guess we have to wait and see. And I mean, this is just so heartbreaking. The frequency that we're hearing about certain things like this, and I don't know. What are people supposed to do? Like, human nature is to connect with people and to go out on a date and to, I don't know, you guys. We literally just talked about this recently with Grace, and it's just hard to wrap your mind around the fact that people will do these types of things. And then you think about Sade, right? 19 years old. She's FaceTiming with her mom about what kind of clothes she's going to wear. And she goes to a nice seafood restaurant, and they go to a bar, and she's feeling comfortable. And who knows what he told her to get her back at the house. He could have told her anything. And then this happened. And her family, never in a million years. You guys, terrible, 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 terrible. I am praying for strength for Sade's family. And there has been a GoFundMe that has been created as well. And I will leave it linked. As long as it's active when I get this video up, I will leave it linked down in the description box. So if anybody wants to go over there and check it out, please do. If you guys are going out and you're meeting new people, I think that's awesome. And I think it's really wise to stay in a public place, stay around friends, stay in areas where there are other people, and really just take your time getting to know someone. I love you guys. Thank y'all for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.